Hi, it's Andrea Dancing Star, and this is going to be just a slightly different video. I'm just going to kind of talk, and I'm also going to cut up this cucumber to add to my already cold cucumbers because I love cucumbers. They're delicious to snack on, and I love putting them in my water. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about helping other people. I have a theory about helping other people, and I feel like it's going to be good for Aquarius, all of the Aquarius, to hear it because Aquarius is the humanitarian of the zodiac, and Aquarius, if there's ever a person who wants to help people, it's Aquarius. So, um, ever since I was really little, I would get very affected by seeing like homeless people or people needing help on the street is mostly where I would kind of see them, flying a sign, walking, and you can just kind of tell that they're struggling. And then, once I came here and was dumped, I became the homeless person. I mean, I was the homeless person before, and then we got a place to live, and then after we got a place to live, that's when he kicked me out. So I was homeless. So, and even whenever I was homeless, if I had dollars and I could spare money for other people, I would do that because I felt like it hit home more, I guess you could say. So, I I I I was a very big like monetary donor. I would never buy anybody alcohol, but if they asked me for like cigarettes or food, I could go do that as well, and I did that. And then I once I got a job and I was working really hard and still living in my car, I was still helping people, but I would also be thinking like I worked really hard for that money, Why can't they go work really hard? And honestly, that thought is not really my business. That's not really my place to think. I've gone through a lot of thoughts when it comes to helping other people. And you know how they say no good deed goes unpunished? And it can kind of seem that way in a lot of instances. But I think I figured out exactly why it's like that. I think I figured it out. So, and this goes just by kind of looking at my own life. So, I had to become very, very independent. I had to become like being able to take care of myself. Well, I also prayed to God and Jesus, and they did the magic work. But I had to kind of get myself into this like terribly terrifying and chaotic and kind of helpless situation before I actually could realize what I needed to do and exactly what I can do. So, I mean, nobody could have just walked up and like told me that. I mean, even if they told me exactly what I just said, I don't know if all humans are like this, but I know I am. People can tell me stuff till they're blue in the face. I have to figure something out for myself before I know it to be true, before I believe it, before I accept it. And so it kind of, I kind of started thinking about along that along that thought, when it comes to everybody who asks for help because I know that some people it's their job to ask for help. Like literally they live here, they just go outside and ask for help just to see what they can get. You know, it's literally like their job, but they're not actually as destitute as they might want you to think or know. And then I also know that it's not my place to judge them, you know, so I need to divert from that to begin with because it's not my place. But then I started thinking, what if no good deed goes unpunished because our, like, whenever I go and give someone $20, does that really help them, or does that kind of take away the lesson that possibly God is wanting them to learn? You know? Is it that? Is it because I should help people because I have the money and I could? And because I feel bad for them? Or also, even more so, is it kind of selfish that I'm helping people because it's ultimately making me feel better that I did something, or that I gave $20, or that I gave money, whatever. I've given a couple of times, I've given more than $20. A couple times I have. And that was pretty awesome. That was very awesome, actually. But it made me feel really good. I don't know what it did for the person. I never saw them again. For all I know, they could be an alcoholic. They could have used that money to just go and get like a bunch of alcohol, a bunch of Fireball, and then get a hotel room and destroy it and get themselves into legal trouble. For all I know. And then would I have been really like helping them? Probably not. So, my point is, when we want to, like, the majority of people, at least for me, I think when we see people who are in need and we want to help, it's because it is creating some kind of a feeling inside ourselves. And we're wanting to try to fix that feeling inside ourselves. When in reality, they may be in the situation that they are in because God is trying to teach them a lesson. And they're not going to learn the lesson, most likely, through us giving them monetary assistance. So, it's just my little thought about helping others, and I felt kind of like I need to kind of say it out loud, you know, because obviously I'm an Aquarius. Majority of you guys here on this channel are Aquarius, and you know, we all know, humanitarian of the zodiac, wanting to help, wanting to do the thing. And that's a good way to be, to want to help. It's a good way to be. But I think also we need to keep in mind, are we wanting to help because it's making us feel bad and we want to make ourselves feel better in some way? Or are we going to help and actually teach a man how to fish instead of just giving him a fish? You know what I mean? And also, yeah, are we stepping in God's plan? Are we kind of stepping in the middle of God's plan? Because sometimes I think that phrase, no good deed goes unpunished, because we stepped in the way of God's plan, and God was like, you know, I'm going to teach you a lesson now, because I'm trying to teach this person a lesson. I could be wrong. And also, like, I'm not saying just like totally stop helping everybody. I'm not saying that. It's just food for thought, you know? Because I know, most definitely, for me, when I see people that have less than me, that are, in my eyes, suffering, I want to fix that feeling inside of me because it feels awful. It's a horrible feeling. But some people use that to their own advantage, you know? And again, It's not my place to judge. It's not our place to judge. But I do know that I don't want to get in God's way. I know that much. Um, so what I do now, when I encounter someone who is doing worse than me, who is suffering probably more than I am at this point in time, I pray. I pray. I pray for them. I pray to God and to Jesus. I pray for Jesus to hold their hand and give them strength and keep them going. And I pray to God to bring them the miracle or whatever it is that they are missing, the thing that they are needing, what they were missing in their life, to bring it to them. I pray. I don't give money. I still do not buy alcohol. I would. No, I've been asked to buy alcohol so many times, and I'm just like, you asking the wrong girl, because you don't need alcohol. I know you don't. Nobody needs alcohol. Um. So, yeah, no good deed goes unpunished, but maybe it's because we kind of got in the way of God's plan. Possibility, maybe food for thought. Um. Yeah. And thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening to me. If you possibly, are interested in what I have to say, and this is your first time seeing anything from my channel, subscribe. And, I post very regularly. I go live regularly, and I will say more things. I will say more things until I absolutely cannot. So, if you subscribe, like the video, share it. And if you have any comments on this topic, or if you have any thoughts, or how you feel, if you disagree with me, tell me. If you agree with me, tell me. So, yeah, because this is a community. You guys have a voice, and this community exists because of the people who are part of this community. So, it's a two-way street here. So yeah, interact. And thank you for listening to me. And I love y'all. And I will obviously always see you in the next video or the next live.